Oh, hello there. Yes, well, we're back again, I suppose. I'm not going to mention the weather, except I've just mentioned the weather. Pooh, that didn't work out well. Anyway, yeah, hurtling towards the weekend, I'm pleased to say. Yesterday there was a lot of stuff about trans in schools in the news following the government's decision to, not ban rainbow lanyards, obviously, because for reasons. But yes, people in the Commons and all the usual Rosie Duffields and Miriam Gates and Kemmies standing up and making sure that our children are safe by introducing some farcical suggestions. And of course, my second favourite transphobe of all time, James Esses, was on the case because he was complaining bitterly that it's not good enough for him because he knows a lot about stuff with his Well, I think he went to school. Anyway, yeah, we already know there are trans activist groups advising schools to ignore what is only guidance, he wrote yesterday on Twitter, because what he was doing was trying to get you to read his expose on school governance. So it's worth our reading this, okay? The government's school guidance is not enough. My latest expose uncovered training delivered to school governors. They are told trans women are women, two men can be a lesbian couple, assuming a child is not trans is oppression and discrimination. Yeah, expose, right, okay? Now, I want you to picture this scene, okay, in terms of the deep level of investigative journalism we're getting here, right? Imagine, right, okay, you're James Esses, right, and you're about to do a deep undercover expose of something, right, okay? The first step is to wait. And then you may notice you get an email, okay? And what you need to do is perhaps if you're right-handed, move your hand towards the mouse, right, like this, and you can click on it. And then, okay, through a unique combination, which I believe James has in spades, is whereby you use your eye and your brain to interpret sort of squiggles on the screen to ascertain information. And then what you do is decide, with a thesaurus at your side, to write the slides that the whistleblower, as he puts it, has sent him, and pretend to be very, very cross about it, or stunned, or astonished, or amazed, bewildered, aghast, awestruck, thunderstruck, awed, open-mouthed, that's a good one, blindsided, oh cool, that one works, doesn't it? Surprised, bowled over, startled, dumbfounded, awesome, agape, like that. You see, it's brilliant, isn't it, having an online thesaurus, especially when you're writing stuff about what goes on with school governors. But the problem that James has, which is a basic problem in his life, is that he's writing a lot of stuff about which he knows nothing. Because school governors don't have any role in the day-to-day running of schools. So if they're being given on training on trans issues, then that doesn't have anything to do with children, in essence. Plus, the nature of British schools, in particularly secondary schools, in terms of academy status, means that, realistically, an awful lot of them, link down below so you can read it for yourself, don't have governors. An awful lot of independent schools don't have any parent governors at all, okay? They might invite parents in to have a chat occasionally, but there's no need for them to be governed by anybody like that. Nobody from local authority has control because, the government decided a long time ago to remove schools from local authority control. So James is getting very, very frothy about a group of people being told about a subject they probably don't know much about. But of course, that isn't the essence, because James wants to pretend for his own personal gain that this is a huge issue. And I'm sorry, but it's not. I mean, James, of course, has his own axes to grind, and I thought it was worthwhile just once again catching up with the amount of money that he's asking for, because his £200,000 stretch target is slightly bigger than it was when I last looked at it, but not by much. So I think at this rate we'll be going for another 20 years before he gets enough for his court case to prove how genuinely badly treated he was by getting kicked off his course, and let's not mention Childline. Oh, I just have. What a shame, yes. Or indeed, if you think about the other thing that he is often jumping up and down about, which he can't quite disown because it didn't work out, is the Declaration of Biological Reality. And we've had another look at that. Still not at 25,000. Months later, still at basically, I don't know, it was probably at 24,500 the last time I looked at it a couple of months ago. And it's 24,636. Why? Because there aren't that number of bigots in the country. As I've pointed out before, it's about one adult in 5,000 that sign that, roughly speaking, in the UK. That's one person in a town. Yeah. So in your town, there's a really good chance that you've got someone like James. I know, but if you're lucky, you won't bump into them because they'll be busy sitting at home waiting to get an email so they can pretend to be angry because that's their job. Yes. Meanwhile, James, when he does this kind of stuff, of course, applies a lot of pressure into me, somebody that actually does work for a living and somebody that actually does know about schools and does know about school governors and does actually work with young people. And, shock horror, isn't a trans activist or an activist at all. I'm just somebody who actually genuinely does have the best interest of young people at heart, rather than charlatans that have a thesaurus by their side, next to them, close to them, approximately in their near-field view. There you go, that's a choice phrase. Anyway, do have a lovely, lovely, lovely Thursday, dangerously close to the weekend, I am very pleased to say. Enjoy.